So what are these all over? These are, it's, what is it, 9.1 ounce dacron, right?
This is 9.1 dimension polyant.
Is there any heavier sailcloth than this?
Yes.
Wow.
Sailcloth goes up to, well, typical sailcloth goes up to 11.
My.
Something, and then really big heavy boats, even more.
Well, this was certainly heavy enough for my 38-footer. And these have 10,000 miles on them.
Mm-hmm.
And what would you say about their condition?
I'd say they're as good as new.
Well, that's bad for business.
Well, what you buy with heavy sails is durability. But you sacrifice some ease of handling.
Yeah.
Bigger threads, not only do they stretch less with the heavier threads generally, but the bigger threads are better, last longer in the sun. So on both counts, you get your money's worth if you buy a little heavier weight sail.
Right.
At the handling. Okay. See, we did one thing different. We made these longer this time.
Oh, good.
So as it stacks up, it's easier to get them in. Okay. Let's get the last one in here. Okay.
What do you think, Oliver? Does it work?
Looks very nice.
Looks good to me.
Perfect. All right.
The secret to keeping it white is never to go sailing.
Well, yeah. The two things that discolor it, of course, there's the rigging, touching the rigging. That's one thing, and of course it'll gray with sun exposure over the years. Alternated back and forth. Back. And as we get to our first fold, we'll put our first sail tie on. Hold it a second. You want to get the first tie on there? I'll hold it for you. With the full battens, of course, you have to pull the leech back. Flat.
Right.
He's going to put the first sail tie on.
Get those good long folds.
Yeah. Well, it's because the batten, there are 2 slides between each batten pocket. That way it facilitates dropping it quickly.
I see.
With full battens, you don't need as many slides.
So, Oliver, what is the weight of this Genoa cloth?
This is 6.5.
6.5. Okay.
So it's in the old days, sails were generally lighter than they are now. They've probably gone up about an ounce. Your last one was 8.4, which was a smaller sail.
Right.
This is a 135. These are prone to breaking because nowadays most sailmakers use webbing at the head and tack so that it rolls up tighter instead of rings. And we use spectra webbing because this gets exposed to the sun chronically. The polyester stuff will tend to deteriorate, and a very common thing is for people to suddenly, they're sailing along and their halyard, their sail comes down because the webbing breaks.
I had asked Oliver to make the clew as low as he was comfortable with, and it is pretty much parallel to the shear line at the moment, but raised up by this pennant. One way to fly a yacht ensign is about 1/3 down from the top of the mast. I like it. It doesn't interfere with anything, and it makes an active statement. That's Malibu dead ahead. The city of Santa Monica and Los Angeles 15 miles away in the haze. A pretty typical Thanksgiving week here where there is no weather at all. There's a little bit of choice involved in choosing sails for a cruising boat, much less of the choices that racing boats have. Because after all, we're not going to pay attention to the set all that much. We're not trying to beat anybody to the windward mark. So the choices are, how many battens would you like to have, and should they be full length or not? And I have chosen full length battens. There are 4 battens up there. Those are those pieces made of fiberglass that run horizontal to the water and help the sail keep its shape. And also, when you lower the sail, they control it. And when you luff the sail, that is when you release the main sheet and it just flutters in the wind, then the battens keep it from making a lot of noise and, I guess, wearing itself out. These are lazy jacks. These lines, also a cruising choice. The lazy jacks just hold the sail when you lower it so it doesn't fall off the boom onto the deck, which is not a problem if you have a crew to hop up there with sail ties and pull it up. But it does make single-handing or short-handing, as they call family sailing with just a couple of people, easier. The size of the Genoa jib just means that it's a foresail that extends beyond the main mast. Here, if the sail is smaller, it's called a jib. A Genoa overlaps. It's an overlapping jib, and I chose this time a 135% Genoa. My offshore sail is a 120% Genoa. The difference is a bigger sail, more sail area in light air. Perfect for today, which is where we have about 9 or 10 knots of wind at the moment. At my request, this sail was cut to sort of parallel the line of the deck or of the light lines. Whereas my offshore sails have a higher clew, one that goes all the way up there, so the sail rises up. There are a couple of benefits to that. One is that the position of the lead isn't so significant with a higher clew. It puts the whisker pole higher when you wing it out, and it generally makes things easier. This design is a kind of a half-baked variation on what are called deck sweeper Genoa jibs that racing boats have. I think that the compromise looks better and is half the pain in the neck that a Genoa jib that cut with a deck sweeper design is, but that's just me. Lots of choices. Sailboats are full of them. You can't make a mistake if you are pleased. Well, I think that that's right handsome in its own way. A new cloud of dacron. Not so bad. For Friday in November. All right. New sails. Nothing like it. All we need now is some wind. That's better. We don't ask for much.